Hey, what's up? I'm Dan Perry, and in this video I'm going to show you how to paint your cabinets like a pro. Now, as you can see, I've already painted these cabinets right here, and I'm going to walk you through that process step by step. Alright, the first step is to remove the doors and the drawers from the cabinets, and you're just going to take a drill, pop them off. It's really easy because we're going to paint those in another room. The second step is to take a degreaser like mineral spirits and wipe the cabinets down so you can take off the gloss from the old finish so the paint will stick better, and also get rid of any grease or grime. And once you've done that, the next step is to take some wood filler and some caulking and go around and find any gouges or holes in the cabinets and repair those before you go ahead and get ready to paint. After you've wiped the cabinets with degreaser, this next step is probably the most time consuming, and it is to sand all of the surfaces of the cabinets. I recommend using a 180 grit sandpaper, but this really doesn't matter too much. Anything between 120 to 220 grit range will be just fine. You also need some sanding blocks with approximately the same grit for the corners and the edges. And you can also get this done without the orbital hand sander you see in the video, but it makes the job go a whole lot faster and it's much easier. And of course, you'll also need to sand the boxes. Alright, so the first step after everything's been prepped, they've been sanded, you've wiped them clean, you've got everything set up, you have all your stuff prepped over here. The first step is to prime the doors, and you're going to prime the back of the doors first. That way, when you flip them over to prime the front has a fresh or undamaged surface when you're finished. So here's what it looks like. So I'm using a Graco X5 sprayer with a 515 tip. Ideally, I would actually be using a smaller tip, maybe a 415, just so I have a smaller spray. But the 15 is necessary because I'm using a Benjamin Moore Fresh Start primer. All right, now it's been about an hour and a half since I painted the first side, or the back of all the cabinets. So now I'm going to go ahead and move on to the front and paint the front using the exact same process. And yeah, one thing I noticed was I did get a little bit of orange peel on parts of the back. So on the front, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit lighter of a coat so I don't get the orange peel. And that's another good reason to do the back first, because you can make some mistakes where it's not going to be as noticeable. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and paint the front side, and let it dry overnight, and then I'll get back in the morning to paint the rest of it. Whoops. Alright, now that we have primed both sides of the cabinets, I'm now going to move on to the paint. I'll be using Benjamin Moore Aura paint, and I decided to go ahead and get a different tip. So today I'll be using a 313 tip, which means it only has a 6-inch wide spray. So hopefully I'll waste less paint. I went through quite a bit of primer just doing these right here. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and get started on these, and it should take about 20 minutes to paint all these. Alright, so in between coats of painting the doors outside and while they're drying, we've been working on the cabinets in here, and basically what we've done so far is we've just done a light sand, just scuff up the surface. And then next we've filled in any gaps or wiped off any anything sticky or oily or anything. We wipe that off real good, scrape it off if we need to. Once you've done that, you vacuum it off, wipe it off with a wet towel, and then you're ready to prime. So as you can see, we've started priming. We've got this upper cabinet all primed right here, and obviously it's taped off where we don't want paint to get on there. And then so now just down here, I've got a smooth finish roller here, 4-inch roller. So basically what I'll do is I'll have my brush and my roller at the same time, so I can roll the majority of the surface because it goes on way faster. And then in some of these cracks inside of the cabinet here, I can't always get paint in there, so I'll go back with my brush and touch up those areas. And just what I'm trying to avoid is having any big globs of paint seep over on the side. So when you paint a surface, you're going to want to check the other side, make sure there's nothing sticking out over, and if there is, just go really lightly and clean that up. And you'll get a nice smooth finish, get a nice base for the paint, and then the next step after the primer is to paint it. Alright, so go ahead and follow that same process until you have 1 coat of primer and 2 coats of paint. And that's applicable to both the doors and the drawers out in the garage, and also with the paintbrush and the roller here on the cabinet boxes. And once you're done, let the cabinets dry for about a day, put the hardware back on, screw them back on, and your cabinets are finished. Here's a list of supplies and tools. Here's what I used. I'm Dan Perry. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to get more videos just like this one.